Kingdom Traders, Coach Brian King here, where we focus on the M3 strategy, mindset, multiplication, and management. This channel is dedicated to helping people understand day trading. We come from a kingdom perspective, and then we apply our knowledge to the charts to be able to make trading profits to make an impact. So let's dive in right quick. I had a buddy of mine that reached out today, and he wanted me to look at SLV, iShares, and a Silver Trust. The question is, should I be doing calls or puts? What type of spread should I do? And so what I'm going to do, and anytime I go into the markets, the first thing that you need to identify is market structure, right? So let's look at market structure. What I see in front of me is I actually see a trend. It looks like price was actually respecting the trend. In order to form a trend, to my new people, we at least want to see price touch a particular area at least 2 times. Now, when we get above 2 times, we're seeing that we have a well-defined trend. And in our well-defined trend, that lets us know that, hey, the market is going in this particular direction. From what I'm seeing right now is I see that we're in a strong downtrend. Now, notice right here, if we look, we see that price went to the trend line and it actually broke above the trend line and it created something called a gap, a small gap into the market. And so when you have gaps in the market, I want you to think of gaps as opportunities, because literally the gap is the place that the market just took off. And when it left, it created an imbalance within the market. Now, for my new people and even seasoned people, the way that the markets move is buying and selling. And so when I look at this particular gap, in essence, as I draw it out, here's what really happened. See if I can find my little nifty tool. Where are you? I'm going to take a small rectangular and I'm going to draw it up like this. And in essence, we have a big, long red candle. Notice price went from this gap to here. Then price came back down and went here as a retest. And it retested into what we would call a buying zone, right? And so in this buying zone right here, which I'm going to highlight, this was a zone that price came to. And as day traders, we have to be able to look at these positions and ask ourselves, what should we do? Now, price took off, came back into this zone, and noticed that the buyers were waiting to come back into this zone, because then price exploded above and it went right back out and it created a new high, right? You guys see it? It created a new high. Then price came back into the same zone, and now it's starting to break above the zone. Now, here's the question that was asked of me. If I'm going to do an options trade and I want to be bullish, how far should I spread it? And so here's my collective answer. Before you think of it, let's look at these candles and let's ask ourselves, do we believe that we should be bearish, meaning that you want the market to go down? Or do we believe that we should be bullish, expecting the market to go up? Now, here's my biggest concern. I see a candle structure, which we have a drop, we have a basing candle and another drop, and this drop was an engulfing candle. Now, notice when it was engulfing, it broke below this middle candle, which was the one basing candle, and the wick actually went down here, if you guys can see it, but it went into an area where there was buying. Notice the next thing that happened was we had another seller's candle. And so what I'm looking for right now is I'm asking myself the question, should I have a bullish basis or a bearish basis? And the answer right now is I'm kind of indifferent, because I see a zone right here, which is a buyer zone. And what I teach my students is that when we're in buyer zones, we're only looking to buy. We're not looking to sell. Now, there is a small discrepancy, because right at that $21 price range, we see that there was some orders on here that are being left. I can tell by this gap right here in the middle. And so if I was in this trade, if I had a put, I would want to have my put go all the way down to $20.97, or maybe buy a $21 put and take some profit off the table. But I would absolutely look for the market to do a level of retracement to come back up here. Now, as I'm going over this information, if you're any familiar with the patterns, this is starting to form a head and shoulders pattern. Head and shoulders pattern. We type it in here. Head and shoulders pattern. Now, when I look at head and shoulders pattern, that serves as a pattern that deals with retracements. Okay. So we need to be on the lookout of some retracements going on because of this head and shoulders pattern. Now, as day traders, I am looking on a daily chart. I do see that price literally came up here, created a left shoulder, came back down here, created a neckline, went back up here, formed a head, has dropped into this buyer's area, which we should be looking for the buy. And then also it looks like, due to the size of the candle, that price might retrace and go back up. Now, one thing you do have to understand, this is a game of probability, so we do have to have some defined exits. Personally, I would probably try to have my exit right about here, which I'm going to put in red, right? And I would want to have my take profit right above here, which I'll just kind of put this maybe in a green color if you're wanting to look at this trade, okay? It's a game of probability. Now, one of the key things to being successful in the markets is understanding that stuff just doesn't have to happen. There's anomalies that happen each and every single time. Your job is to be able to adapt to the markets. And so that's why the best indicator, believe it or not, the best indicator is price action. It's not lagging. It shows you what's going on. Now, what we can do for some of these future things is we're looking into it. We can throw on a MACD. And so let me just kind of throw on the MACD, even though the market is closed right now. And the MACD is going to kind of serve as a way to let me know where momentum is. And so when I look at this MACD crossover right here, that's telling me, watch this, ladies and gentlemen, that's telling me that price is trending down and we have some strong momentum going down. Thus, it kind of adds up with the idea that we need to wait for price to go down. Also, as I look at this, let me just kind of move this up a little bit. I see that we have a bunch of candles in this particular area right here, right? And so if you see this particular gap, which I kind of highlighted earlier, I want you to think when you see gaps, I want you to think gaps equal opportunity, right? So when I see a gap in the market, it's an opportunity. The reason it's an opportunity is it's a zone that hasn't been touched, and the market makers and brokers will always go back to get their money. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to draw out another buyer zone, which is right around here. I'm going to change the color to green. And as I'm looking at this zone, basically what I'm thinking as a trader is that there's a probability that price can return to either here or here. And so I need to have a defined exit if I'm going to do that. Now, on the upside, let's say that price comes all the way down here, which it can literally show up. And if it did that, I don't know if you guys notice, it's forming the alphabet W. Look at that. And I know I got a lot on this chart, so bear with me. But let's just say, for instance, that if I drew out my W, that price would then come down here. All right, and return all the way up to form that head and shoulders. So hopefully you got some value in this. Let me just kind of clean this up for you a little bit as well. I don't want you to get overly lost. This is a lot of information. But again, this is a channel that we build value and we help you make an impact in life. We talk about day trading, and then we serve our community. So we mix it all together infused. I don't just trade because I just love to trade. I trade because I love helping people, and I use trading as a means to fund my passion. So if you guys found any value in this video, do me a favor and subscribe, share that with people, because collectively we want to create this movement of kingdom day traders. And so the biggest takeaway from what I just went over today was we identified a trend, which it price touched one time, 2, 3, 4. Price literally came and gapped up here, which told me that there's some left orders. Price went up. And now price is returning to the area where there's buyers. It's returning into an area where there's imbalance in the market. Your job as a day trader is to identify those areas so that you can make a profit over those areas. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, be blessed on purpose. I'll put some more videos up this week, but thanks for watching and God bless.